Hi, everybody. Welcome to our Monday night call. I am going to share on duplication, but first we have Holly Stedman on here with us. She has been a long-time Plexus user and she is amazing. She has a very inspiring health story. She's always sharing what the products are doing for her now, but we get to hear her story kind of from the beginning. So go ahead, Holly, and share with us your Plexus testimony.
Well, good evening, everybody. It's good to be here, and I'm happy to share my story if it can help somebody else. So, I started having issues when I was fairly young. I was 19 years old. I had had both my children by the time I was 19. And after having my last child, I just started having a lot of different issues with my gut. And over the years, it just started to get worse and worse. Different symptoms and things started showing up. My gut was a huge mess. I had constant issues with pain, bloating, and with running to the bathroom. And it could be constipation. It could be the other way. Um, at night, I was, it seemed to really bother me more at night. And I can remember of laying in bed, and the only way I can describe it is I felt like my intestines were just like in knots. Literally, it just felt like my intestines were in knots. That's how bad it was. And so my gut was my biggest issue, I think, at the time. But then I just got to the point where I had horrible brain fog. I couldn't think, seasonal allergies. And it got to the point where it wasn't seasonal allergies, it was allergies constantly. And I was miserable dealing with that. Um, I did find out that I had leaky gut and candida overgrowth. I was tested for both of those. So I knew I needed to heal my gut. I started, I was diagnosed, I can't remember what year it was, with fibromyalgia. And then when I started getting into the gut health thing, I truly feel like fibromyalgia, they don't really have a reason. They don't know what causes it. But the more I studied gut health, the more I felt like candida overgrowth, all of the symptoms were so related to fibromyalgia because I did tons of research. So I had anxiety, I had depression, I was tired all the time. I could not sleep. When it came time to go to sleep, my brain would not shut off. I would go to bed and it was just like, doing, I'm wide awake and I could not sleep. My gut hurt so bad at night, I couldn't sleep anyway. So I had chronic pain all the time. My muscles were just, they just felt like they were so tight that if they got any tighter, I felt like they would break, literally. It was not a fun time for me. And then I got to the point in 2013, it was my last year of work. My dad was dying of pancreatic cancer. I was to the point, I was at a size 4. My clothes were hanging off me. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't think. And my gut was so bad that I would go to the refrigerator. I would literally stand there and cry because I did not know what to eat because I was to the point that no matter what I ate, I was I was miserable. And I'd go to the doctors and I had test after test after test and no help from the medical doctors. Everything was fine, but I knew I wasn't fine because I was surviving. I was not thriving. I was literally surviving from day to day. And I knew I needed to figure something out. So, Some of the other things I ended up being diagnosed with interstitial cystitis. I had gallbladder issues, ended up having that out. And if you think having your gallbladder out solves your problems, guess what? It makes things worse. But they don't tell you that. But then through this whole healing process, I also did some research, and it looks like to me that candida overgrowth can literally attack your organs. And so I truly feel like if I had taken care of these issues ahead of time, I do not think that I would have had to have my gallbladder out. So I had terrible mood swings. I was depressed, um, just 99 things. So through the whole time of not feeling well, and I couldn't sleep at night, I would get up and I would go on the couch because I literally did not sleep. I think the last year I worked in 2013 before I got done and helped to take care of my dad and took leave for myself. I think I might have slept in my bed 10 nights. So I would get up, I would go out on my couch, I would cry, I would pray, and I would Google to try to figure out what was wrong with me because I knew there was something. So as I was Googling one night, I was in a Dr. Axe site and I was reading down through what everybody had commented, and Susie Ann Peterson had gone in there because in November of that year, she had started taking the Plexus products. So it would have been November of 2015. I think Suzanne started on the products. And so she had put in there, talk something about the Plexus products. And I don't think she named that they were Plexus, but she was taking some new plant-based products and, was trying to reach out to people. So I remember the only thing I wrote under her comment was help in capital letters, HELP, help. And Suzanne reached out to me. And I didn't know Suzanne Peterson from a hole in the ground, but that's how desperate I was. I wanted somebody to help me. So she reached out to me. She told me about the products, that they were plant based, that they had really helped her a lot. And she truly felt that they would help me. So lo and behold, all I wanted to do was get the products. Nobody had to beg me. I wanted them. And I was honestly so bad with my mind and my mental. It took me a week to figure out how to get the products and get signed up. And I'm like, Suzanne, I just want the products. So anyway, I finally got the products ordered, started taking them, and I literally, before Plexus, had tried everything. I'm not kidding. I had tried other natural supplements. I had gone to a holistic doctor, and at one time, I was literally taking 69 pills a day, and it did not help me. It was awful. So I got signed up. I got the products, and within 2 months, as bad as I was, and I was bad, I knew that things were working and that I was seeing some positive changes because I literally, like I said, had tried everything. And I felt like if Plexus did not work for me, I did not know what I was going to do. And I truly felt that they were going to work for me. So I started taking the products. I signed up and I started on the triplex. And I think it was not long after that I added in X Factor and I added in Mega X. So I was taking the Fabulous Five, which we call it. Sorry, my cat's in the way. He thinks he's got to be in here. Um, and Suzanne mentioned to me right away, about sharing, but I literally was so bad. I just felt like I could not share. I needed to fix myself a little bit so that I could think. So, But she did mention to me right away about sharing, and I said I'd keep that in the back of my mind because I really love the products and I really couldn't afford the products. So I think it was around 3 months I started sharing, and that was 10 years ago. And so I'm still sharing the products, and I kind of had gotten away from it a little bit on sharing. But in January, Suzanne and I decided that we were going to go for it again. And it was a good time to jump on board because the purple drink has just been fabulous. And so, um, 10 years out, I'm feeling amazing. And I think I'm going to add in too, since Restore has come out, I feel like Restore has been a game changer in my life because I also have gone, I went to Mark Hyman's clinic and found out that my body does not detox well. So my detox pathway is not well. So I think Restore has just been fantastic for me and helping me to detox my system. And also with doing this slim and trim combo, I sleep like I have never slept in years doing this. And so I can't say enough about the Plexus products. People will say, well, they're not working for me. They're not doing, and I'm like, nobody's going to tell me that Plexus doesn't work. If you give Plexus time to work and you let us work with you and figure out what is going to work for your system, Plexus works. And I believe 100% in it. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
I knew you were going to say that, Holly. I could feel it before you said it. I love it. And thank you so much for sharing. And I'm also glad you shared what products you were on, so people can know that. And Holly is signing up so many people right now, you guys. And this kind of jumps into my team call here because this is how she's able to do that. She is sharing what she loves, and this excitement and passion that you can just see, like she just wants to talk about Plexus because she loves it. And having that is really what is key for duplicating and getting people doing this with you and honestly changing lives. So I've had a really stressful day today, but seeing you all on here, it makes my heart so happy just to be here with you guys and to get to know you all better. And it's just really exciting. So thank you, Holly. And now we are going to talk about duplication. And this is really simple. And that's what I love about Plexus. This is so simple to lead a business and to do this business. And so we're going to talk about that just a little bit. Yeah, Monica, nobody knows how stressed. Okay, so it doesn't matter what you do, it matters what duplicates in this business. And if you've been around long enough, I'm sure you've heard that before because this business is really simple. It's simply sharing, like Holly was just sharing. I guarantee you, she's sharing her story with all of the people that she's talking to and just sharing her story, or even you guys sharing her story. Being on 69 different pills and off of that, that is life changing. And that is why I love Plexus because it is changing lives. So, you need to remember what you're doing, it needs to duplicate, and what you do to build a business is really, really simple. So I like to talk about, and you guys have heard me say it before, I do, we do, and then you do. So those are the 3 steps for duplication. Those 3 things alone. First, you need to be doing the activity. And then you need to help your level 1 do the activity that you're doing. And whatever you're doing is working for you. And that's what you're going to teach the best. If you're doing online events or if you're doing in-person events, whatever you are doing, that is going to be the next best and easiest step to teach your new person on what to do. And then the you do or the they do. They are going to do it and you are going to watch. The majority of your business, if you have new business builders, and I'm going to talk to those of us who are growing a business, but the majority of your business is going to be spent doing the we do. we are going to be doing it together. So I'm going to talk about what that looks like and how to get them involved if they're kind of resistant, or maybe they're not doing the things. Maybe you've told them the things, but they need to keep doing it some more, or you need to keep telling them some more, and that's normal. But the first thing is you cannot help someone do something that you are not doing yourself. So if you go to our team website, inspirewholenessco.com, which I forgot to mention, we have our team dinner on there. Holli's testimony was so good, it got me off track, but we have our team dinner on there for convention. Make sure you get your ticket for that. We have a certain amount of spots, and I don't want it to sell out before you guys get your ticket. But anyways, if you go on there, there is a daily thrive map, and there is an IPA sheet, which means income producing activity. And I have it printed off right here. This would be the list of things that you are going to want to be doing yourself, and then making sure your team does it. So the I do portion of this would be I printed off my non-negotiables. I'm going to do these things every day. And these are the things that you're going to want your people to print off too. That would be the we do. We're going to do this together. Let's get on the website. Let's print these sheets off and let's hold each other accountable. Let's be in the IPA chat. And then the day they do portion of that would be you're kind of watching, you're making sure, like, okay, Courtney, did you get your daily Thrive map? This is what you should be doing during your office hours. Or any of my level ones, like, okay, if you're serious, this is what you need to start doing, and do these things consistently. Okay. The other thing that you need to be making sure you're doing, it's really simple. You have your daily non-negotiables or whatever IPA sheet you're using. This is just mine that I made, but you're doing your things during your office hours. Even if you're fitting this business into like the nooks and crannies of your life, you still want to have at least 30 minutes where you can sit down, you can think, you can open your social media and try to not get distracted. You can get right to your messages. I like to just open the message app and just get right into my messages. I don't even go to Facebook or Instagram, just get in my messages. The daily conversations you're having is the most important thing that you can be doing. So having conversations with your people, or when they call you, which getting on the phone is really important, but when they call you, answer the phone, have that conversation. So there's 3 levels of conversation and relationship in this day and age, and that is like virtual texting, messaging. It's like typing out your words. And then there is over the phone. That's that next level of personal relationship. And then there's in person. A lot of times we can't get in person, we're busy, and I would actually say there's probably a 4th level. So in between in person and on the phone is a face-to-face Zoom like this. If you can get on a Zoom and connect with your people, your new people or your team builders, whatever, that's even better than getting on the phone. I've always just like kind of stuck the phone in my bra strap and run around the house and do the laundry and do the dishes and cook dinner while I'm on the phone with my level one. So that's usually what I do. I don't get on Zoom very often, but if you can, that is a really powerful way of connecting with them. Um, but those 2 things are the things that you need to be doing, is having your work hours, being consistent with that, and then doing your IPA sheet. And once you're doing those things, get your level 1 to do those things with you. Whether it's getting on the phone to sit down and do your IPA, or sending messages, or in the IPA chat together, doing those things together is important. So how do we get to that we do thing? How do you get that with your people? Don't have enough time to dumb it down to a really basic level. So I'm going to assume you guys have the basics down of like saying, hey, let's do team call. Hey, we started a new book. Let's do book club together. Figure that out. But how is it that some people can be like, all right, come and do this with me, and somebody just does what they're doing? Number 1, it's having excitement, having energy, having passion behind what you're doing, and just being excited. So when I was in Arizona, I talked to other top diamonds and just ask like what were they are doing, what is working. And Jamie and I were there and it was really interesting. The things that they said, I was like, okay, yeah, these are the things that we talk about. The number one thing was excitement. Just being excited with your new person. If they get a join, be excited. Don't act like it's just another day. If they earn an Aura ring or they got their water bottle, make them a graphic. Be excited with them. The next thing would be influence. How do you get them to do it with you? Is having influence. And I love the book Becoming a Person of Influence by John Maxwell. Everything in that book is so good. Um, if you haven't read it, definitely get that book and just read the whole thing. It's a very small book, so it's not hard to go through. I think it's like $9 on Amazon, maybe. But the next thing after reading that book and working on being a person of influence, which this kind of is part of being a person of influence, but belief. The number one thing that you can give your people, and I've asked my jewels, like, how have I helped you? Or honestly, they've told me, and the number one thing has always been belief. You believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. And that is what they have all told me, which is funny because that's what I say about my sponsor. Like she had belief, she had rock solid belief in the products, in network marketing, and those things passed on to me. So if you're passionate and have belief in whatever it is that you're doing, say your brand, maybe it's gardening or horses or whatever it is that you're passionate about, those are spheres that you're going to be influential in and more than likely kind of like the ladies shared last week. They're talking about their freshly milled wheat classes. They're passionate about that. They're becoming a person of influence in that area because they love it. They enjoy it. They're adding value. That's the other point. Add value. Be encouraging. Show people how to overcome problems. So basically we're professional problem solvers, not just problem solvers in depression or anxiety or digestion, those things, but problem solvers for all of life. Maybe it's tips on how often to water a tomato plant, like whatever it is that you're interested in, sharing those things and adding value. And then I talked about belief, and I'm trying to hurry through this so we can end close to 9:30, but the we do part. So that was how to get them to do it with you by being excited, by being an influential person, by being relatable, by adding value. Um, and then the we do. What does that even look like? It's guided action by helping them do the things and building that confidence so they can get to the point of doing it on their own. So your job during the we do phase is to build their confidence, and that can be by helping them get joins. So if your goal is to help them get joins to build their confidence, maybe you need to work on their posting. Maybe they need to post more or they need to change how they're posting. Maybe you can help them with their messaging. Are they saying too much or are they saying too little? But I think this part is kind of hard in general. Duplicating can be hard, but also really easy for people who are self-motivated and just kind of jump in themselves. Maybe you didn't need your hand held. Maybe you feel like nobody told you what to do and you just did it. But it's really important that you understand that most people are not like that. Most people do need the hand holding, but that's okay. If you were a self-starter, motivated on your own, just jumped in without anyone telling you what to do, and you shocked your upline by suddenly going silver, you can be really bossy naturally. So that's okay. Just get bossy with your people. Don't be afraid to tell them 5 times, hey, you need to go to convention. This is going to be really good for your business, and here's why. So part of the we do, like I said, is lots of being on the phone and getting in person. The in-person part is really important because you share vibrational frequencies with these people. So you can catch excitement through someone's posts. You can really catch it through a face-to-face story, but you can definitely catch it at convention, at our team retreat, which is open for the whole team. That's in October in Florida. You guys can register for that too. But getting in person and doing in-person events is going to create such a different dynamic and such a a camaraderie or a bond or team building. So getting in person is really important. Um, Also, part of the we do is talking to them and getting them beyond their potential. Whatever you see in them, call that out. Like, Holly, you're really great at connecting with people and sharing stories. I love that. Build them up, tell them what they're amazing at and what they're doing good at. And they're going to feel empowered and they're going to go and do more of those things. Yeah, Kristen, talking about possibilities more than problems is so huge. And I love to call out potential in people because you know how it is when someone's like, "Oh, I like your necklace," and you're like, this whole thing?" Like, "Oh, maybe I'll wear it more often because somebody said that they liked it." So if you tell them that they're really good at connecting with people or the way they posted was really good, they're gonna be like, "What? Who, me? I'm gonna do more of that." So call out those things, why they're really good at what they're doing. Keep pulling them in and don't be afraid to keep telling them the same things. Encourage them to get to convention, encourage them to share their testimony. Um, Again, like Holly said, Suzanne told her to share, and it took her 3 months before she felt comfortable sharing. I bet you that Suzanne kept bringing it up. And my favorite thing, I talk about this a lot on group coaching, but asking them why. Okay, well, what's the real reason? Why do you really not want to go to convention? Do they not feel connected to the team? Are they nervous of traveling? Can you share a story that's relatable? You could even share my story that Fallon's nervous about traveling too, and she goes, and here's why these events are important. But constantly dripping more information to them about why they should do something. So if somebody's resistant to three-way chats or in-person events, that just means that they're not as close to the doing something on their own. They still need you to really do it with them to include like, okay, why do you not want to do this? If this is your goal, this is really going to help you hit that goal. I know it might be a little scary, but how do we make this happen? How can we get you 3 joins this month or whatever? Now, the they do. This is going to probably happen past Ruby level. Monica talking to me. I might be talking to you, but I wasn't thinking about you when I was writing all this. So still applies. But they need you to really hold their hand, probably at least until Ruby level. Um, be a second set of eyes on their posting. Talking to them when they have questions and they throw the ball to you, that is how you know to throw the ball back to them. That's really important that you match their pace. If they're messaging you every day, message them every day. If they're only calling you once a month, try to bump it to 4 times a month. Try to do it every week. Try to connect with them. And then three-way chats are really important. That is not for your sponsor to run for you, though. So if you have a level 1 and a level 2 in a chat and you're the upline, it is their job to run the chat and your job to kind of watch. This is even doing the they do during the they do stage. When they're doing it kind of on their own, you still want to be there watching and seeing what is going on. And if someone doesn't want to do a three-way chat, y'all know that I ask, like, why have you not done this? Why have you not done the three-way chats? Why have you not added your people to the team page? These are common things that people resist doing, and I like to know why. And usually they don't have much of a reason why, they just haven't done it. So finding out why and getting curious, and then offering them suggestions. So I'm going to close with this. I'm going to skip a little bit of my notes here just because of time. But just like relationships with kids, and the older my kids get, the more I see this, that more is caught than taught. And you can tell somebody to do something all day long, but they're just going to copy what they see you do. And I asked Brittany Howard a long time ago, like, how did you know how to do all this? I didn't feel like I outright said, hey, you need to do this. And she said, well, I just watched you. So the easiest way to duplicate is just do the things that you want your team to be doing. And do double it because whatever you do, your team is probably going to do half of what you do. So, all right, you guys, that is all I have. Jamie is going to be sharing next week on duplication part 2. So we're going to go a little bit more in depth on all of these things, but I will see you guys later.